Well, today's Tuesday, December 17th. It's milking time for these ladies, but we're here right now. We're going to fix this gate. We're in number 26 here, and this field's getting used every night right now for Group 1, who's actually walking by. They were a few fields down grazing, and they're headed to the barn now, but we got to fix this gate. and if you're considering building electric fence, or you've built some electric fence, I thought this would be a good time to give some tips and some advice, and yeah, whatever you want to call it. These little gate anchors here, 3-hole gate anchors. There's a couple different kinds. You can get one with a single hole, or you can get these with 3 holes. So theoretically, you could have a gate here, a gate on this side, and a gate on that side. If you can see it, gate here, gate here, gate here. Yeah, I just need to stay away from these. They're a great idea, and they work pretty good if you're not using the gate that much, because if the gate gets used a whole lot, there's nothing strong enough to hold all that stress, and these insulators, they get a little weathered and they end up getting pulled off. This one has already been replaced before, because this is actually an insulator for a T-post and not the insulator that comes with it, which really there's no difference in the two insulators. It just gets weathered, and then all the stress right here ends up pulling it off. Right now, if I gave this a good yank, I could go ahead and rip it all the way off, and then if I did that, then the cows would be able to get out. And obviously they love going to the barn, so they would just take off to the barn whenever the gate fell open. So we're gonna replace this. We're just gonna do away with it, and I'll show you an idea that I've come up with. I don't really remember where I got the idea, if I just came up with it or I saw it somewhere. I don't remember, but I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. Okay, so this is just a simple underground cable from Gallagher, and I'll tell you right now, Gallagher's insulation on their underground cable is 10 times harder than Stay-Fix. Stay-Fix is easy to strip. This is a Stay-Fix wire, and this is a Gallagher wire. That one's like butter. And see, it's got the red insulation on it. Gallagher's got an orange insulation. I can't even. I still didn't even get down into the meat. So keep that in mind. If I'm doing this, if I'm putting underground cable in the underground, whatever, I use the Gallagher wire. Doing for stripping and stuff, I really like the Stay-Fix wire. This is all I got right now. So we got it done, and these actually work really good. They're a little bit more of a pain to put on because you got to strip the wire here in the middle, and so that's hot and this is not. The black part is the insulation, so like touching these wires here and all that isn't hurting anything. That's the only place that's hot. And then you come back around over here, which that is a really crappy job there, but whatever. I'm almost a little embarrassed to show that. But so that's what's making this hot, and it's just looping around the post and coming right back. And I'm sure there's gonna be some Kiwis that say something about it, but whatever. So it's now that the gate is touching the bare wire there, the gate is hot, and it's stronger. They can't screw it up too bad. So this will last as long as none of the, actually I don't know, because I've been doing this for a couple years now, replacing those deals when I get a chance, and I haven't had one break yet, so I guess it could eventually break there, but this works way better. Cows with big old bellies hit that, and they just move the wire can move, it's a little bit free, and it takes all that extra stress with the movement. The stress that this plastic gets here is done with or gone away, so that works out a lot better. All right, so we're here at this other fence now, and I wanted to explain real quick on the underground wire. Neither the Gallagher or the Stay Fix, and I got another deal back there that's I forgot the actual name of it, but it was Kiwi something, came from New Zealand. It's a lot better. It's like twice as thick. I'll show you here in a minute. But the neither one of those underground cables work underground. If that makes any sense. They can tell you what they want. Like I showed you earlier, how much harder the Galaxer plastic is, or insulation is, over the Stay Fix. Neither one of them matter, because if you go, we've gone as deep as 3 foot or as shallow as 6 inches, whatever. It doesn't matter. Something was going to get into it and chew on it and chew through the insulation. I've had some fences get chewed up directly in the center of the whole gate, and you know, you're losing power somewhere, and you end up searching it back, and you figure out it's in that underground cable, and if you listen really good, you can hear it popping in the ground. I've had rabbits chew on them right where they go into the ground, and you know, the other one would be chewed by some moles or some gophers or something like that. So neither one of them work underground all by themselves, unless you were just going to do something temporary, you know, for a couple months. It'd probably be okay, but for long-term use, it doesn't work. What you want to do is somewhere right in this area, not directly at the insulator, somewhere, you know, 6 inches past the insulator, probably this high off the ground, put a piece of conduit. You can melt the pipe to make a sweeping 90, or you could buy one. If you do melt it, it's very tricky and takes a little skill, but you can melt it and then go down a couple feet deep. That way, if it ever gets, you know, you get the record rainfall year, you're not tearing it up and pulling it up and breaking it with equipment. And then you come up on the other side, you know, same distance away from the insulator, and then so you got that 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch conduit in the ground. Then you take your underground cable. Now I would probably prefer to use the Stay Fix because it's a little softer, but the Gallagher would work. That Kiwi wire, I've done it, and it's extremely hard because it's so thick. Push it through the conduit to the other side. Give yourself a little bit of slack, and then tie it on the wire, and tie it on the wire on the other side, and then you should be good to go. And then that piece of conduit does a couple things for you. It protects the wire. You know, if they start chewing through if something chews through the conduit, it ain't gonna hurt it none. You know, then they'd have to go into the conduit and find the insulation on the cable. So you kind of get a little protection there. If something was to break it, it's not gonna hurt it. You know, you're just trying to protect that underground cable. But so what would happen is, say something happens and your underground cable breaks right here at the wire. Well, you got a little bit of slack, you can retie it on. Say something happens again, it breaks, or you decide, you know, for whatever reason, you can then pull that piece of wire out and put a new piece of wire in, new piece of underground cable in, and it takes a little effort, but you can get it to come up the other side and tie it on, and then so you, you know, just like running electrical wires through conduit, you can pull them out and put them back in. And then if you just went straight underground, and probably I'd say in a year or 2 years, something's going to have it chewed through, and then you have to dig it all back up and redo it. So that's one tip I wish I would have known when I first started building fence. Here, the way we do it is we got 3 different controllers running 3 different sections of the farm. Like at Wes's house, we have a charger there in the shop, and it runs, we got that Kiwi wire actually running by itself. You know, didn't even take my own advice. And then comes up across his driveway, or the driveway there in front of the shop, and then runs the whole boundary, like following all that tree line, and then branches off to around the field. So hopefully I can do this one without the sun too much, but down the tree line in the back there, that wire's hot, and then so from that corner it comes up this way, comes down the lane here, and dead ends here. And then on this side of the field, it comes back up and dead ends there. So we don't need underground cable here. And that's the way we have all our pastures. But there are places that we either run through the culvert to jump across lanes, For instance, right over on the other side of this field, we run through the culvert, going through the, over the lane to jump to the other side. We have a few gates over on this far side that we do run underneath the gate to jump the electricity through the gate hole, if that makes any sense. So a couple different ways to do it. I would try to do as least amount of underground cable as I can, just to make it easier, and I would make my boundary hot and then branch off of it and then have them dead in at the gates. But then this morning group 1 was coming in here, and one guy came and closed the gate, and when he came and closed the gate, the wire here broke. It goes around the wood post, which this happens every now and then, and the reason it happens is the gate gets in a little bit of a bind, gets hung up on something, and so instead of going back to investigate why is it hung up, it fit just fine yesterday, why is it not reaching today, they just start yanking on it, and then they put that wire in a bind and they break it. I got the new wire tied on here. I left it a little loose so maybe it'll spin a little better, and then so we're going to throw all this in the back of the Ranger. Just to throw in the dumpster. I will need to come replace that gate. I have to get some more rope and another handle, and we use it to cut off here, because here in probably 4 days we'll be grazing, group 1 will be grazing 25B here. That's 25A and that's 25B. That's the woods that we cleared a couple years ago. But anyway, so we put in a gate here and split this field into 2, and we'll have to use that extra gate there to cut off the lane so the cows will go into that field. And then what we did down here, so we took that underground cable, we stripped off 2 pieces, so basically made a 2-way gate. You can open 25B, and 25A still hangs nice and good. Or you can open 25A and 25B sits right there. And they're also kind of away from each other, so they're kind of pulling evenly. There's not any stress there. Went through the wire here to help hold it up. You don't want it to drop down every time, so that helps hold it up. And then we got the 2 pieces of wire tied onto here. And this also helps just in case this ever breaks, or something runs to the fence and pulls it off. It'll help hold the fence up. And a freaking helicopter about to fly right over my head. Hello? So we're done here. I hope this was any help if you're looking at building electric fence. Just keep that in mind, and good luck, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave me a comment and rate below.